crazy action coming down, so. But, yeah, just, we'll remind each other that we do wanna get that input.
Yeah. Did you see that, Raleigh?
What's that? Yes, I got it.
Okay.
It's signed.
Perfect.
I checked it off, so you're good. Thank you, Rob, for helping me prepare that.
Kathy was a rock star. Nope, that's the wrong password. Last time I tried to do this, it spun around, spun around, spun around, which was this morning. I had to go back up.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, hello.
Give it one chance. You might be slightly delayed, Madam Chair.
No, Raleigh, I think, is chair, right? I'm chair?
You're
Chair, I'm, are you on the committee?
Raleigh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here to fill in someone's role. But you have to chair if you regularly participate in
Gotcha,
this committee.
yeah.
That might be more helpful. Bob, did you want me to chair or did you want Jacqueline?
Well, I think when we have committee members, they normally fill in.
Yeah.
share.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Right. Okay, yeah. No, just wasn't thinking through right. All these mics are on. Do we want them off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Leave one for Adam. without George?
Got George, he's on, I think it's a Boy Scout Jamboree.
You got three. All right, you got a quorum.
You got a core? I'm ready, sir. Good evening. Welcome to the Keene Board of Education Policy Committee meeting for Tuesday, June 24th. On this hot day, we hope everyone is staying cool this evening. Public input, we have no members of the public here. I did not see any public input in the drive, but we're welcome to receive should a member of the public show up within the next 30 minutes. Moving forward, can I have an approval of our April 22nd Policy Committee meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead, Claire, but put your mic on. Yep.
I was out of the country and I did formally excuse myself from the meeting.
Okay.
It wasn't
All right.
noted, but thank you.
All right, very good. Okay, any scribble corrections, any items that need tweaking? Okay, with that said, all those in favor? Opposed? Or are you going to abstain? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. Very good. Our first policy that we're going to review this evening at second read status is policy JICK, and Rob's pulling it up on the screen for us. We got it up. Okay, and we did there's several notes in there from you, Adam, from the 22nd, which I believe we worked through all of those last meeting. Was there any other additional? I feel like there was. Okay. Raleigh, you need to have your mic on, please.
I think in this one, I did see like a Scrivener's error that might have changed the meeting.
Do you remember where it was?
I'll keep on going down a little bit.
Yeah,
Was
it's by
this
the
the one?
grievance.
It's by the grievance, yep.
You gotta be more specific.
Yeah,
Page number.
or Roman numeral number. Do you remember, Raleigh?
Well, he and I saw the same one, but I didn't mark it because I read it on my phone this morning. But if you do a search for resented, we want to say represented. If you do a search for the word resented, we meant to say represented, I think.
Was it this policy?
It might have, this might have,
Could have been one of the ACs.
could have been the next one. Just to make sure it's not in here, represent. Okay,
I put in resent and there's 0, 0.
so that's not the one. But this might be the one where there was a sentence that was repeated at the end of one of that.
Do you want to look at it on your Chromebook, Raleigh, and see if you can find that? Oops, sorry.
Oh, I do see that under
I
5.
think
but
I
it
know what
looks
Raleigh's
like
talking about. Rob, would you scroll back up? It was that
It's on the-
sentence starting, any other person. Oh, so that was just the heading, the any other person reporting.
Okay, now I'm going to pull that up here.
Yeah, and mine on the first page under number 5.
Okay, wait a minute, let's do one at a time, so that,
Yeah, I think this might be the repeated sentence that he's.
on page 1, Dylan?
Let me look, let me find it.
Just keep your mic on, Dylan, please.
Oh, yeah, it's actually Dylan mentioned on the first page, number 5, under victim.
Yeah, this looks like an updated version.
Okay, you have an
that-
updated version.
Yeah.
That's, you already caught that. Okay, that's good.
Was there any others, Raleigh?
On this one, no.
And I'm just double checking, going back to our minutes from April, since it's been 2 months since we've looked at this, just to see if there was anything else. Yeah, and again, looks like we've addressed this. Okay. Any other commentary from committee members, or Rob, go ahead, Rob.
So I know we're on second read, and I don't think we should postpone moving forward, but there are a couple pieces of legislation that may require us to come back to this policy when we open the new school year. So I just want that to be on our radar. I don't think that that's a reason to stop what we're doing. I think the changes that we made help provide better clarity. But I just want us to be aware that this is not done.
Right.
Until
In other
we-
words, we may be revisiting this
Yeah.
in August, or
Yeah,
probably more likely September,
yeah.
potentially?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Raleigh, go ahead.
I was being kind of thorough because I wanted to make sure that I was up to speed on this. So I made a couple comments which were answered. One was I wanted to see copies of the handbooks because it's this policy or one of the other ones references the handbooks policy. So they are in the drive here. And I did check through the handbooks and they are properly referenced. So as I would expect them to be. The other question I had is there was a very specific mention of filing with agencies certain reports. And I think Will answered that and said that, yes, there are, but he said those may change with their legislation. So it wasn't worth holding it up. Rob, is that consistent with your understanding? Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Adam, was there any other, sorry, I'll give you a moment to finish up. Was there any other items or any other additional research that you did since the meeting?
No, I have no other additional changes to JICK.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that said, can I have a motion to recommend to the full board policy JICK?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All right, Claire, did you have a comment, or you were just, you were going to do the second? Okay, very good. All right, with that said, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. Okay, excellent. All right, next up, so that was our only item for second read this evening. So our next item, we're going to now move on to our first read policies, and we've got ACE, procedural safeguards, non-discrimination on the basis of handicap/disability. Go ahead, Raleigh.
Yeah, Dylan was correct in his remembering. It's under the grievance procedure, the word resent. It's in the last paragraph under the grievance procedure, which is close to the first page.
And sorry, Dylan, what was the item?
It's under,
Either request shall be delivered.
Wait,
yeah,
It's before procedure safeguards.
it is, yeah, it looks like it's already fixed in this version too.
Okay, you got that. So, yeah, the versions we had were there, so thank you.
okay, and Rob, you've got edit access, right? For some reason, I don't have mine. So I could not see your comments. Okay. And
So I could explain my change that I made to this if you'd
Okay,
like.
yes, please.
I took our existing policy, ACE, and then you'll see that I included that, oop, there it was, Rob, if you'd scroll back, that pink lettering there, the school district will ensure. That is more or less the entirety of the NHSBA policy that was recommended and dated, last reviewed by NHSBA, May 10, 2024. So it's a very thin policy compared to ours. So I liked the language, I thought it was helpful, I just moved it over and included it in ours because I thought ours was more thorough, so I didn't see why we ought to mess with it. So I just added in the new language from NHSBA. One thing that I note is that procedural document IHBA-R, I don't believe we have that on our books right now, so that might be
That
an
rings a
issue.
bell. I think you may be right about that, Adam.
I have a note that says so, but that might, I'd have to check the district website for the policies to be sure off the top of my head here. And I guess my question is, do we need that reference to IHBA-R? It's the procedural document for, that relates to IHBA, which we absolutely have IHBA. And,
Correct.
and I think the rest of our procedures are documented outside of policy.
Well,
But we do have an IHBA-R, oh, as of April,
Okay.
there it is, okay. So I take it back.
Okay.
okay. All right, Raleigh,
For clarification, is this ACA? We're talking about ACE?
ACE.
Yeah. So I didn't find that new language in the version that I hit. So thank you.
You may not have edit access either.
Yeah, that's fine. But,
Well, if you go into your Chromebook, if you go into the drive through the meeting link,
okay, that's the way.
if you
Well,
don't, then do a request edit access.
okay,
Rob
got
can
it.
give you access.
So I have to request access to,
If you open up the document from within the policy agenda, if you don't have edit access, there'll be a little bubble at the top of the screen where you can then request.
okay. Yeah, I don't know that I need editing access. I would just,
But otherwise, you won't see any of the commentary from Rob or Adam. That's the bottom line.
thank you.
Sure.
And so we haven't accepted this yet because that's just the proposed language.
Right, we're still in first read on this one. So this
Okay,
is Adam's
thank you for
commentary
clarifying that.
and diligence and work that he's
So
done.
one of the things I will say is that the paragraph I inserted from NHSBA and then our compliance paragraph that Rob just scrolled past are really similar. Ours is just more specific, that's all. That has the specific references to statutes, whereas the one from NHSBA just says that we will ensure that parents and guardians and students all have the same procedural safeguards that are afforded by law. And this compliance statement lists those laws. So they're saying similar things, but that's hard to follow. That's why I think NHSBA put in this easier language of saying we'll follow law. But I don't see any reason not to have the two paragraphs there.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it's a good clarifier, if you will.
And it helps us know which laws we're supposed to. Remember, I think about these policies not only assisting the parents, guardians, and students to understand what they have to do, but also as a roadmap for staff. Because I think oftentimes when they have an issue, the first thing they do is go to policy for direction. So this would give them, oh yeah, we have that law, this law, and a list of them to follow rather than just say laws.
Right. Any questions on those paragraphs that Adam has put into the document?
No.
Okay. And I see too where we've updated, parents / guardians.
Just try to be consistent.
Yep. Go ahead, Raleigh.
I did notice that you took out the word handicapped and just going to use the disability.
I did, and I'm not married to that language, but I feel like that's the proper thing to do now. I admittedly don't necessarily keep up with all the right terminology, but
That
I
is
think that,
correct, yeah.
I think that our other policies have sort of shied away from the word handicapped and just said disability.
Right,
So I'm trying to just be consistent with our language.
right.
Um,
Well, and it's
But that
called, the
language, yeah,
it's called the
handicap,
Disabilities with Improvement
Right,
Act.
right.
So
So
there's
the-
no mention of handicapped
the
in that,
handicap
yeah.
language, the word in the draft policy, that originated from an NHSBA version and a previous version from law, but I think that the proper nomenclature is now, you just say
Thank you.
disability, and it's just a little more broad and, because disability could be anything. Yeah, I think that's probably right. And it incorporates what was originally considered handicap.
Rob, have you heard, is this potentially another policy that may undergo some changes come August? No, this one's not on any sort of upheaval or
No,
reassessment? Okay.
haven't seen or heard anything related to this at all at the state or the federal level, for that matter.
Okay, very good. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Are we feeling comfortable to bring this to first read to the full board, which won't be until August? Okay. Rob, from a standpoint of the new school year, we've already got this in place. We've added some new language, but you're not seeing any need to sort of fast track this,
No,
correct?
I mean,
Okay.
the only new language, I mean, just sort of clarify some things. We're already in operation as it's presented in this format right now, so we're all set there.
Okay, good. Okay,
I agree with Rob.
okay, thank you. All right. With that said, can I have a motion to bring this to first read to the full board?
Sure.
Moved.
Okay.
Who is the first, who is the second? Okay, very good. Claire seconds it. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that will move on to first read. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Now we'll take a look at policy AC as in Charlie, non-discrimination, equal opportunity employment, and anti-discrimination plan.
So the NHSBA had an update as of May of 2024 that just reinserted some headings and removed of students in a heading. I mean, it was really, and added a cross-reference to a different policy and this USDA non-discrimination statement. So I incorporated that piece and then just sort of clarified some inconsistencies. You'll see one of my first notes says that what we're discriminating against or preventing discrimination against, I take that back. What we're trying to prevent discrimination against should be consistent across, you know what it is, but we didn't, ours and the NHSBA did not have the same language about what is protected from discrimination. So I tried to make that consistent. And I did in my revisions.
So operationally, does this refer to how we serve meals? Because that's where the USDA comes into being for the meal programs.
No, look at the title again, Raleigh.
Okay? It's all employment, huh? Okay, just employment. All right.
Yeah, where's that?
So employing food service workers.
So there is this USDA non-discrimination statement.
Yeah.
Which is copied in from policy ACF. And it's a federal rights law and U.S. Department of Agriculture civil rights regulation, and that is in our policy.
Okay. Does that cover everything, or is that only accepting grants from the USDA, we need to follow this part, or operationally, how does that
Okay.
work?
What the statement says is that this institution is prohibited from discriminating on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, these other matters. So we included that statement because it's required. And I don't begin to know the ins and outs of how federal money and federal dollars flow from agency to agency. I know that it's in flux, but I do know that we have to include this USDA statement because somehow that money's getting to us too, I presume.
Okay, thank you.
And it includes this, where to file a complaint, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I did see that.
So what I really try to do is to just update our existing policy to comply with these changes.
And is this one that's likely to be,
Do your microphone, please.
is this one that's likely to be re-legislated?
Again, no indication
No.
on that. There are so many pieces of legislation that are floating around. I will absolutely keep you advised of ones that I'm aware of as we go through policies. But the first policy that we went through, there's definitely legislation that's pending, but nothing with any of the others on tonight's agenda.
So with the edits that Adam has provided, is there any concern from any committee members, or are we feeling comfortable with having this move forward to first read for full board? Yes, good for first read? Okay, that said, can I have a motion to recommend to full board a first read for policy ACE, procedural safeguards? No. Oh, sorry, AC. Too many A's today.
Yeah, so moved.
I have a second, please?
Claire?
Claire with a second, okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries 4-0. Great, thank you very much. All right, and then next up is policy, or procedure. ACR, non-discrimination, equal opportunity employment, and anti-discrimination plan. So we've got this tag to rescind. Is that,
I don't know whether it's
we don't-
required to be in our policies, but we have to make these contacts available so people know where to make complaints. I don't know, I can't remember, because this has been kicking around, these changes have been kicking around since January, why we flagged this for rescinding. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think that was recommended by NHSBA. So they gave us some guidance, hey, look, we no longer require this.
Okay.
So that was what the recommendation from NHSBA was, as I recall.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, I think we have these things available, and make these contacts available to people, you know, certainly through 504 coordination and such. I don't know. My notes on here say, not even sure if this is required. And that's the issue I think we're addressing here.
well, I mean.
Yeah, we've done, and I'm kind of trying to show you this, but I can't enlarge it. But we've done that on our websites with those same contacts, and we put them on all of our websites, you know, down at the footer, so that folks have that. It's on all of them. So if I go to Harrisville, for example, it's down there as well.
Would you mind, Rob, pulling up that, maybe it shows on that index of policy updates. Remember we had the audit?
Where is
I
it?
thought I saw it in the drive recently.
Yeah, that narrows it down.
Yeah. I thought it was in this month's meeting that I saw it last, but maybe it was last month, the April meeting
Yeah,
or
I
the
think
May meeting. Oh, we didn't have May.
I'm in April. Maybe it did get put into May in anticipation.
No.
No.
Everything got moved out of there.
There was, in the 22nd, April 22nd, I did see ACR. Is that the one we're looking at?
No, that's,
There's Claire, there is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that has, there it is,
Yeah.
analysis.
go.
That's from 2023 now. Good boy.
Oh, and there it is, right there on the first column, row 11.
ACR. Can you slide over and see what the comments are? I don't see anything. You know, I'd be happy to call Will Phillips and see if, why don't I take care of that, and then we can address it at the next meeting.
At the August meeting,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree. I think before we strike something out, let's be doubly sure. Okay, Raleigh, go ahead.
So for clarification, the intent is if we do rescind this, we don't need this whole document, but we map the Human Rights Coordinator and the Title IX Coordinator to our HR Director, and that's going to be on the website? Is that how we're going to treat that?
it is on the website.
It's on the website. That's what
already
he was
there.
showing us.
So we're already doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And as well, do we have the federal agency listed on the website as too?
So the contacts that we provide are through our website.
Right, okay.
Right.
But
I
even the
think
federal,
what
even the
Raleigh-
federal agency
Right,
ones,
because on the ACR
We don't
currently.
put those on the website.
we don't put those on the website? Okay.
So I think that would be a clarifying question to also ask of Will, if you don't mind, please, Adam, because on our current ACR, we have our local, right, SAU contacts, but then on the current ACR, under outside agencies, we've got the Office for Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Ed, Boston office, and then the Office of Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, U.S. Department of Agriculture, with the D.C. offices and contact connections there.
Yeah,
And then actually it keeps on going. There's human rights for New Hampshire. There's a whole list. You'll see them there. So I
Yeah,
think
I
let's
see it.
just,
I see it. I will call, I'll call up to NHSBA and see if I can get confirmation of what Robert calls.
thank you. So with that said, with this extra phone call, it's sort of like we could bring it to first read to full board, but we're really, it's not even a first read, but I think we need to wait perhaps until Adam has gotten absolute confirmation from NHSBA.
I agree.
Any members, do you concur?
Could I propose a motion to table it until we hear that and not send it
Well, we'll
forward?
just bring it back to
Yeah, leave it on the
August
agenda.
policy, right?
Okay.
I think you guys are talking the same language.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, we're not gonna bring it to first read for full board because we don't know how it's gonna land if we can officially rescind it. So, okay, very good. Okay. All right. Shoot, bear with me here. Too many tabs open now. And I think that was our last policy for review. I was looking ahead at our various policies that we have delegated out to our other committees. Rob, I was noticing under student services, we've got a few policies. Are any of those, do we need to ensure that those get moved along quickly by student services to then come to us and to full board?
I made
the
some
school
minor
year?
changes in those.
Okay.
Because they were on the agenda, I wanted to go through them. I did them on the NHSBA versions and noted my recommendations in the margin. Pretty minor stuff, and I suspect that whoever's reviewing those will have access to the same versions of that, so they'll see my changes.
Okay, all right, very good. So then for the minutes, we can just make note that the 3 policies under Student Services Committee should be reviewed.
Those J's, yeah.
As,
And the JH attendance one, I looked at that too.
okay, very good, all right. Okay, Rob, do we, no, I was not at the last facilities meeting. Have they looked at GBEF yet? Just thinking ahead, for August, do you recall? No, okay.
I wasn't at that meeting either. and
Okay.
I don't recall.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll just say then for the minutes, if we can just make sure as we reconvene come August and September, that we ensure that these policies get moving along, particularly when we don't know what's ahead, starting with the new school year, what may come out of Concord. We don't want to get such a backlog that we get further behind, so I think that would be important, not only at committee level, but I see there's a few with it, under the administrative review, all the I policies and so on. Okay. Is there any additional policies that need to be put on hold? Yes, go ahead, Adam.
Not put on hold, I just had another one
Yeah.
that I'm pulling out from an old agenda that
Okay.
I don't know if we
Sure.
ever addressed. In March, we had a policy for review, BBBE, which is the
Oh,
Keene Board of Ed member vacancies, and I have a note here that I'm just remembering that I'm supposed to spend some time with it. So I don't want it to fall off of our list of things to address, or maybe you addressed it when I was not at the April meeting.
go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so with the open seat on the Keene board, that was why that was being looked at. And the decision has been to, well, let's follow the policy as it is now, and then when we're through, we'll bring that back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're stuck with the policy you have on the books, and if you have a vacancy, you got to address it that way. You can't change the rules because you have a vacancy.
Right. I mean, that looks a little funny if you're like, oh,
Even if it's
shoot.
not, yeah, there's nothing untoward, you're just trying to do, but it just, people will be like, wait, scratching their head.
Right.
So I agree with
And we
what you
need
did.
to move forward.
Yeah, you got to fill a seat.
From August and fill that seat, right. for-
Don't need to go through first and second read and then fill the seat. You're better off filling the seat.
Yeah, fill the seat and then look at that to see if it still meets the needs as we go through the process. The other thing is you don't want to create a public perception that you're changing the rules to favor a potential candidate over another candidate. And
Totally
so,
agree with you.
Yeah,
Or just delay it any further. I mean, we've got, several months, and we've got budget season and all of that before March. Okay. Under our agenda for other, we've got the policy on devices with batteries. And I know that we discussed this, I believe it was the March meeting, Rob, so where do we stand with that? I want to make sure we're giving you what you need to keep our buildings safe.
yeah, so this originally came up because of a Chromebook that caught fire in the building, and as we've learned since then, there was a Chromebook challenge that students were engaging in, where they were jamming stuff into different ports on their Chromebooks, which was causing them to shoot sparks and, in some cases, igniting. While we don't have concrete evidence that that was what happened with the Chromebook that caught fire, there's a strong belief that that might have been the case. So we did ask that our buildings not allow scooters and motorized transportation devices that have those lithium batteries to keep them outdoors. So, and we had no issues, so.
Okay, all right, well, and you answered my question, because I remember what it also precipitated was, all of these scooters and other transport vehicles with their lithium batteries, but you're confident with what you've got on the books already that, and no pushback, it sounds like?
Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good spot, so, we'll keep, we'll reach out to NHSBA as well to see if they have a desire or if they're hearing of this in other places either. I don't want to necessarily write a policy just to write a policy. If this can just be simply handled as a directive.
Administratively, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so,
Because as batteries improve, then maybe it doesn't become an issue. And now we've said, oh, we've got a policy that says this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get pigeonholed.
And it isn't like a discrimination or a civil rights matter where, you have this right to bring a motorized scooter inside your classroom with you.
Yeah.
So, and I think you just treat it like you would bicycles. They all have to go on the rack outside.
okay, very good. So to be clear then, you've got it, you're running with it, you'll check with NHSBA, report back to us as needed. Very good. Thank you. Yes, Raleigh, go ahead.
Thank you. I marvel at how organized this has become since I first served on the Policy Review Committee. My question is you have a number of one that we just went through that came from different committees or student services, et cetera. Who's responsible to shepherd those through or to get the status of those? Is that the chair, or who's responsible for that?
My team internally over at central office communicates with one another to say, hey, you're putting together the agenda for facilities. Have you done anything with this policy? Or you're putting together the agenda for education committee. Don't forget about these policies. And so we do that internally.
Great. So it's not necessary for a chair or committee or subcommittee chair person to follow up. Okay, thank you. That's really good.
Okay. Do we have any other? Okay. Adam, is there anything more that you're needing from policy or anything you need me to relay to George?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'm
all
in
right.
good shape.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, with that said, this is, I think, our shortest meeting. I'm just looking at the time. We will close public input. And with that said, if there's, oh, yes, go ahead.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you. I was going to just ask that. You beat me to it. That's great.
Second.
All right, excellent. Everyone have a lovely July hiatus, and we'll be back here in August. Thank you so much. Meeting adjourned, 6:13.